Now let's go to our panel now. Oliver Peterson, 6PR host, joins us from Perth, and also Susie O'Brien from the Herald Sun joins us in Sydney. Good to speak to both of you. Escaping all the grand final drama in Melbourne and heading up to the Emerald City. Are you?
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay. A lot of people had swapped places with you. They'd like to be in Melbourne this weekend. We'll come up to the footy later on. I want to get thoughts from both of you. We talk a lot about the cost of living and the way it's cutting through. A big development this week, really, yesterday, when we saw inflation nudge up again when it's supposed to be easing down. A lot of that is coming from petrol prices, and that's, of course, the cost that we all fear and we all feel. But now, Chalmers and Anthony Albanese saying that they're not going to be throwing any more money around to ease these cost of living pressures. Paul Murray's been strong on this week for more than a week, really, saying that the government's flush with extra revenue from exports and whatever. They ought to be spending some of that on trying to keep petrol prices down, as the previous coalition government did. Do you think that would be a sensible thing to do, Susie?
Oh, absolutely. Anything that could soften the blow of my $1,200 power bill that I got last week. And I know people all around the country are feeling this pain. And the thought that there is going to be a further interest rate rises, just as we're adjusting to our new normal where we have no spare money to spend on anything. On top of that, you know, we're now paying more than $2 a litre for petrol or diesel. And, you know, the thought of further rate rises would be absolutely crippling so many millions of households. And I think it is incumbent on the government to do what it can. It was elected on a platform of easing energy prices, easing the pain. And now that they've got all these billions in the bank from the commodity prices, they need to help households. And, you know, households deserve it.
Yeah. Look, I think, Oliver, that I agree with Paul Murray's point. You know, Labor sort of barracked for this stuff and criticised the coalition for not bringing it in soon enough when it's around. But to me, if you try and chase fuel prices with government subsidies, it's, you know, you never know where you're going to end up. But what they do need to do is either lower the taxation regime there permanently, or, as Susie said, look at our energy prices. This is where all of their policies are pushing in the wrong direction.
Yeah, and the predictions are, here in Western Australia anyway, diesel's going to cost you in the next 3 or 4 months $3 a litre, which is just ridiculous. Even today, there's a 25-cent difference between unleaded fuel in WA being sold and what diesel's being sold at a more expensive price. It's just madness. It just makes no sense. But you're right, we need this as part of a bigger taxation reform conversation, Chris. And I know lots of people have been popping up their heads in recent weeks in particular saying, you know, death taxes, we don't want that. Nobody wants an inheritance tax. But have a look at fuel excise, because we're always going to be paying more and more per litre of fuel. And sure, you know, the great electric vehicle revolution's coming, but it's in the never. Hybrid technology. Do we look at hydrogen technology? We've got to look at other technologies, because if Australians are paying $3 per litre to put diesel fuel into their car, every truck's run by a diesel powered car. That means every single apple that we buy
we
in
all
the
get
supermarket,
hit.
every delivery that's made to our home, we're all going to get smashed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could tell you I drive a diesel now, and when I could fill that up twice. And it's more money than my first car cost me. So, but then I'm getting very old.